Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nan, and today's topic is about relationships. So, I want to talk about how to have a relationship that leads to marriage. And before I start, I want to share my beautiful roses from my husband. I'm a solopreneur, so I don't have any coworkers, so this is my coworker. Yeah, so back to the topic. I just so you know my history, especially if you are new here. I'm currently married and we are 20 weeks pregnant, so we're expecting a baby soon. And I just wanted to make this video because I was thinking about this, and I wish I had known these tips before when I was in my 20s and 30s, so I didn't have to make so many mistakes and waste so much time. So hopefully this video will be helpful to you, but I will mention that the things that I will say is pretty old school. So if you are one of those people who are super opinionated and easily offended, this video is probably not good for you, and probably you should probably click off. Yeah. So with that being said, um, my number one tip is do not live with your boyfriend before marriage. You heard me right. Do not live with your boyfriend before marriage. Super old school. My parents told me this, but I was too cool and I did not listen to them, and I regret it. I super regret it because it would have saved me from big time heartbreak. So, when I was dating, I lived with two boyfriends. I made the mistake twice. So, trust me when I say this. And what ends up happening if you say you're convinced that you want to and you're going to do it anyway regardless of all the advice like I did, what ends up happening is the guy gets comfortable and they don't see any reason to get married. And they'll give you all these stupid ass reasons of why you should not get married. But if you are like me, who wants a family and still believes in marriage, then I would not live with the guy unless you are married. The first person I dated where I lived with the guy, this is exactly what happened. He got so comfortable that he didn't feel the need to commit because he felt like, oh, we live together, there's no need to commit. So even though he tried to logic me out of it, in my head, I kind of understood what he was trying to say or tried to say to me, but in my heart, I still wanted marriage and I wanted my child to have a father. I wanted that commitment. I wanted the damn ring, and there's nothing wrong with wanting the ring. Um, so I stuck with it, but inside I was having all these crazy feelings of resentment, pissed offness. So eventually I moved out. But at that time, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why it went so sour, or what in me made me like resent him, because he did a lot for me, but it just didn't feel right. So I lived on my own. I moved out, and that is like the hardest, most heartbreaking part, is like separating things and moving out. I hated that so much. But at that time, I think I was like 27, late 20s. But your girl did not, still did not learn the lesson. And I will say, my parents uh, did warn me not to do that. But at that time, I was just so I'm Vietnamese American. So my parents are born in Vietnam. I was born in America. So in my head, I was like, you guys are fobs. You don't know what you're talking about. And also, you don't know what dating is like in this new era. Although that is true, the underlining theme and philosophy is the same no matter what time you're born in. For now, from what I can see and what my experience is. And when I do have a daughter, I will teach her the same exact thing. And then because your girl did not learn her lesson, I did it again. I lived with a second boyfriend and we joined things together. And um, so in my head I was like, oh, this makes sense because we I've done this before, and that means that he really loves me and that he's committed and that we have a future and we get to save money. Okay, so I live in San Francisco. That's like one of the most expensive cities in the United States, or maybe is it the world, I don't know, but it's really expensive. And I was thinking, okay, we can save some money and then we can save some money for our future. Wrong. Don't do it, because it was the same situation. He got really comfortable. And then what I've seen with my friends when they've done this is that you basically have to, and this is for women who want marriage and still believe in marriage and want that commitment. You basically have to drag the guy to the altar. That's what I've seen. Like when you're married, I'm sorry, when you live together, the guy will come up with all these excuses of why you should not get married. And some of them are really stupid. Some of them are really stupid. But they will come up with these reasons because in their head, this sounds so effed up, but they're thinking, why do I have to go through all this trouble if I already get unlimited time with you and I get to sleep with you with no commitment and just play house with you? What the hell? Why do we need to get a simple paper? That to me was a struggle town, and I see struggle town with my friends because they actually get logicked out of it, convinced out of it. But at the end of the day, you still want it. I still wanted it. And um you'd start to build resentment against that person and the relationship goes quickly downhill. So with my second boyfriend that I lived with, um we were like talking about marriage and he was about marriage and stuff like that, but I found a lot of immaturities in him and so we split. But I had to go through the same BS again, and each time I left the apartment that we had, I was always the one to have to find a new place, and that sucked. It sucked being homeless. So, if I can give you the advice, it would be do not maintain your independence and do not live with the guy until he shows you that commitment, that ring, the wedding date. Because really, that is like when you do that, that's a huge commitment. It's a huge showing to your friends and family and display of your love. The living together and just like hanging out and not really being committed, but you're committed is such in limbo. And based on me, and what I've seen from most women is that it doesn't work out. You end up having to push for the marriage. You have to convince them. What feels good is when the guy actually asks you to marry him, right? Without any convincing or anything like that. Um, so yeah, I recommend this advice for all ages. The second advice I would recommend if you're dating for marriage or you want your relationship to become marriage is do not date longer than a year. What? Don't date longer? Yep, you heard me right. Don't date longer than a year. Okay? And I especially want this advice for my ladies in their 20s, okay? In their 20s, from 20 all the way up to 30. You can have many boyfriends and see how they are, but after a year, if you don't got a ring, you got to dip. You got to dip. Because if you really want to know if there's a future, that when you have that conversation at one before, I would say before that 1 year, and they have no plan for you, they're just wasting your time. And you can't lie to yourself. Women age faster than men. That is no lie. And you can't be politically correct and like try to logic your way out of it, but it's biology. We have a certain number of eggs, okay? When we get older, it's more tough to get pregnant. Um, the number of good eggs dwindle. This is for the women who want to have children naturally. By natural, I mean like you carrying the baby, that's your egg, blah, blah, blah. It gets tougher as we age. And you also get tired. I get tired now. And I didn't get married and pregnant until like 34, and I never thought that I would be 34 and pregnant. I thought I was going to be doing that way before then. But I didn't get these two tips. And nobody, my parents told me not to live with them, but nobody told me about the 1 year thing. Um, but I wasted a lot of time. I wasted a lot of time doing stupid stuff and hanging out with the wrong guys and letting them waste my time. So if I can save you some time and some heartbreak, this is the reason why I'm making this video. Take what you will. Um, Let me know if you have any questions. And one thing I will say about dating the guy for 1 year, when you have that conversation, you will get really clear and you will get the truth from the guy. So if the guy says, I have no plan for you, and you had this conversation before 1 year, and he's like, oh, after 1 year, we'll just continue to see how it goes, that means he doesn't love you that much to marry you. Okay, he may care for you, he may like you, he may love you, but he doesn't love you in the way for commitment and marriage. That sucks. Trust me. I've been through that, felt that. That sucks to know that. Okay. But if they do that, lucky for you, you saved your time and then you get to go back on your app and meet new guys that align with the thing that you want. Okay. So good luck out there. If you have any questions or if you want me to explain more, write it in the comments.